What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right, man, I'm going to talk about some stuff related to Floyd Mayweather Jr. and compare what he's doing right now with Mayweather Promotions to what was happening with Oscar De La Hoya. Because I think Floyd Mayweather Jr. is falling into the same trap that Oscar De La Hoya fell into. And if he's not careful, minus and I'm not talking about the kind of explicit issues with Oscar De La Hoya. I'm talking about what happened with Golden Boy Promotions and the way that organization, man, I'm telling you, I think they might have I wouldn't be surprised if they're out of business in 2 years. The way that Golden Boy Promotions is going. And this last week in the lead up to the Gervonta Davis fight, bout, I mean, shows me some of the same things that I first saw happening with Oscar De La Hoya and how he dealt with Floyd Mayweather. Now, before I get into that, I want to thank everybody that attended the live streams. I'm probably going to have one later today. I wanted to get on 78 Sports TV one earlier. He sent me a link and I didn't see it in my inbox. I really hate that I didn't, because they were talking about this subject and I really wanted to give a perspective on it from a business standpoint, not necessarily related to boxing. I mean, this is not something that happens just within the sport of boxing. This happens when you're managing in the management of any business, where you have a relationship between a manager and the person that is being managed, right? So anyway, I'm definitely going to try to have a live stream on this later today. I hope that you will accept my invitation to attend that live stream. And also, the best way to do that is to hit the subscribe button and then the bell icon. Now, even for subscribers that have been to the channel before, the best way to make sure you get all the notifications is to select the bell icon, deselect the bell icon, and select it again, and then you should be able to be prompted to something that says occasional or all notifications. If you select all notifications, then you should get everything. If you don't select all notifications, you'll get them occasionally. You won't get all of them. So I definitely hope that you accept my invitation to do so and attend the live streams. And also, thank you to everybody that donates to the channel on Venmo and Super Chat. It's definitely helping the cause out a lot. Getting a lot closer to this quarter's goal. So thank you very much. Now, that said, man, let me explain what this is called, man. Well, the facts first. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has had a big beef, obviously, over the last couple weeks with Gervonta Davis, where Gervonta Davis came out and said he thought that Floyd Mayweather, he was being set up by somebody and forced into this fight, and that somebody was trying to get him beat. Then there was, of course, Adrian Bronner said a lot of different things about Floyd not being a real friend, being a fake friend. Jose Vargas came out and talked about a tape that had been released, a video of him sparring with Floyd that had been released, where he felt like Floyd was hating on him and that this guy's manager, he was doing the job of both a manager. His manager was being his promoter and his manager. And just a lot of conversations, a lot of talk about over a period of time about Floyd Mayweather Jr. being, wanting to be the center of attention and putting his own publicity and his own interest ahead of the boxers. Now, if you remember, Oscar De La Hoya. Now, before I get into that, I want to remind people of the situation that happened with Oscar De La Hoya that led to the breaking up of Golden Boy Promotions. Golden Boy Promotions, which was founded by Oscar De La Hoya at a point in time, they were absolutely in a position to dominate boxing, man. To dominate boxing. They had pretty much all of the PBC fighters were with Golden Boy Promotions. Robert Easter was with Golden Boy Promotions. I believe that the Charlos were as well, but pretty much all of the PBC fighters, like 200 of them broke off from what was Golden Boy Promotions. When Oscar De La Hoya woke up and realized that he didn't have he didn't have exclusive promotional contracts with the boxers. He had exclusive Al Heyman in the PBC, or Al Heyman had exclusive managerial ties. So basically, he got caught sleeping at the wheel. But if you remember what he would do was he would every fight that Floyd Mayweather Jr. fought on, he would always pick against Floyd Mayweather Jr. And it was just mind-boggling that a guy who was getting paid by Floyd, right, would go out of his way to constantly disrespect Floyd, constantly pick against Floyd, have a complete attitude about Floyd Mayweather, right? And to the point where Floyd Mayweather and he were beefing, and then Floyd breaks off and does his own thing. The PBC, Al Heyman, who was Floyd Mayweather's manager, breaks off, right? So all of that, the big Showtime contract that took place, the mega fights that took place between Pacquiao and Floyd, all of those type of things, man, go out the window because Oscar De La Hoya's ego got in the middle of it. And on top of it, I get this from very good sources, that Oscar De La Hoya now also has a lot of internal issues. With people that are stealing money, mismanagement of things being mismanaged. They've got a bunch, I believe they've got several lawsuits on them, and just a lot of issues. And then you have this thing where they only have really one major star in Canelo Alvarez, and Canelo Alvarez is 90% of their business. Right, and gets 90% of their business for them on two dates, the one in May and the one in September. All of this stuff, man, it's looking as if Oscar De La Hoya's business is going down the tubes, right? And there's a lot of people hoping that it will. The disregard, when people talk about Oscar De La Hoya now, they don't talk about what he did in the ring. They don't really talk about what a great fighter he was in the mid 90s and the early 2000s. It's all about the destruction, the falling apart of basically his lack of success as a promoter, which is highlighted by his relationship, and the first evidence of it was what was going on with Floyd Mayweather. But now you have not the exact same thing happening with Floyd, but now you have Floyd beefing with the guys who are supposed to be making the money for Mayweather Promotions. Right? So if we separate Mayweather Promotions from Mayweather Promotions is a business whose job it is to promote fighters. And when you have the owner or I'm not sure what the title of Floyd Mayweather is in there, but clearly he's the owner, he's the main executive for Mayweather Promotions, beefing and being talked poorly about by the people whose job who that business relies upon. I mean, Floyd Mayweather Jr. can go out and fight and have a couple more fights. He can do an MMA fight. He might even be able to take another boxing match. But I mean, he's not going to be able to do that 2 years from now. So what is Mayweather Promotions going to be when Floyd doesn't have the ability to attract anybody to his fights, when he no longer can be the center of attention? It's not going to be anywhere if the people who he's going to rely upon don't respect him, don't want to work for him, and are tearing down the value of his name. When you have Gervonta, and that's essentially what the same situation looks like between Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather Jr., where you have Gervonta Davis saying, man, I never even heard about this Lomachenko fight. Nobody talked to me about that. But if it's pay-per-view next, yeah, we can do it. If not, I'm going to go on and do something else, right? You got Jose Vargas, doing the whole, man, he's hating on me. I used to be my hero, but now you're hating on me stuff, right? So that's why I say that these guys, that Oscar De La Hoya's path and what Floyd Mayweather's doing, Floyd is starting to walk down that path. And this, from my perspective, is what that path is in a business. And if you have your own business where you hire people and, but you were the one that founded the business, right? I've worked for IT companies. I've, consulted with IT companies. I've consulted with sports manufacturing companies. And I mean, pretty much that's what I've done. I've worked in large businesses. I've worked in small businesses. And the one thing that you see is something I think it's called the founder syndrome, where somebody whose name is on the door, right? They're the one that started it. And you can see this in non-for-profits. They have a mission. And the main focal point of that business is that person. So when you see that business's name, you see the picture of that person, the picture of the founder. It's named after the founder, right? When people think about the product that's produced, they think about the owner, right? And the whole business is tied up in the personality of the owner. But as the business grows, you have more and more people who are working, and you bring on talented people who work underneath you. But a lot of times what the owners of those type of businesses will do is that they will still insist on making every decision, right? And they would rather make the decision. They would rather make a wrong decision themselves than have somebody else that works for them make a right decision and make them look bad. So you'll have people. I've been in situations where there was a guy that was making, I want to say $1 million a month from a major corporation, right? Had a contract with a major corporation, making $1 million a month in sales to that organization. But they didn't want to sell the product that particular business wanted to buy. Right? They just said, look, we want to do business with you, but we want to buy X from you. We want you, because it was services. We want you to do X. And the company said, well, yeah, we'll do it because there's a lot of money. But but the owner of the business every day was mad. Was like, oh, that's not my focus. That's not what I want. And they kept calling, kept trying to talk to the customer and basically say, we want to do something else. We want to do something else. We want us to do something else. Meanwhile, the sales organization is telling this guy, look, they're not going to do anything else. That's all they want from you. You're a small business. That's what they want from you. Fast forward 5 years later, that company didn't get any more money from that large company. And unfortunately, later down the road, they had to sell. Because the crux of it was, and it was other issues around that as well, is that this owner wanted to had this tremendous ego and thought it was more important that he get his way than his company be successful. And that's what I saw in Oscar De La Hoya. That's what I saw in Oscar De La Hoya. That's what I see in Floyd Mayweather Jr. When you can sit and watch, and I've seen it in another business. It's not an isolated thing. It's not an isolated thing. You'll see other situations where you got a guy that's working and the people that work underneath them cannot make decisions. They don't have, for example, for Floyd Mayweather, they might say, the president might say, or somebody who's a matchmaker might say, look, man, I really think this is the best way to bring this guy along. And Floyd or Oscar can say, nah, I don't think so. What I think is that's not the way I would do it. I would do it this way. I think he should be in with this guy right now. We're going to have him fight. I want to see him. That's not how it came up with me. I was ready when I was 16. I was ready to go by. I was 18. There's nobody in the world I couldn't beat. So I want this guy to do what I had to do. But the matchmaker saying, no, he's not ready for this fight yet. No, this is a tougher fight. This is too much for him. And then, the guy says, might say, no, it's my way or the highway. Because he's just not the type of guy. Because he's not the type of guy that's going to allow you to make a decision because he thinks of everything being a competition. And that's what Oscar De La Hoya did with Floyd Mayweather. Everything was a competition for him. You could tell it. Every decision that's made is a competition, right? Is it, am I going to get my way or are you going to get your way? Who's going to be right? I'm the owner. I'm the man. So therefore, I'm going to get my way. You're not going to get your way. I mean, in the live stream that was 78 Sports TV, he talked about how you could see this thing, see it in the interactions that Floyd has had with other people, where they would say, the Floyd's the type of guy that if, as soon as a girl walks in the room, all of a sudden he got to start insulting people and acting as if, let everybody know that he's the richest dude in the room. Let everybody know that that he's the dude that can fight the best in the room, and that he's the man, and is not the type of guy that for 5 minutes can let somebody else get some shine. Oscar De La Hoya looked like he was the same situation with Floyd Mayweather Jr., that he could not stand the idea of Floyd Mayweather Jr. shining brighter than than Oscar De La Hoya shined. And it clouded his judgment. While he's got 300 great fighters, 300 fighters, world-class fighters signed to his organization. He's got Golden Boy East, Golden Boy West. He's got Hall of Fame partners. He doesn't focus on anything other than from the outside looking in, can't focus on anything other than his personal rivalry with Floyd Mayweather Jr. So like I said, man, I say this many times, man, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And if Floyd is making the same type of mistake that Oscar De La Hoya did, Oscar De La Hoya for certain got a bunch of yes men around him. This guy had Richard Schaefer, who did an amazing job for Golden Boy Promotions. And the rumor is with Richard Schaefer, the reason why Richard Schaefer left was because Oscar De La Hoya wouldn't let him make a decision. He's like, look, man, and this dude's a banker, right? I think he came from the banking industry, so he understands money, right? That's Richard Schaefer's talent, I do believe, is managing people and dealing with money. That's my basic understanding of what Richard Schaefer is good at. And if you listen to the reputation that Richard Schaefer has, they say that Richard Schaefer is a humble guy that will talk to you about your problems and will work and get a good working relationship with you, because Richard Schaefer understands that the people underneath him, he needs the people underneath him. And that's a sign, that's in my book, that's the difference between a good manager and a bad manager. A good manager is somebody that knows that they rely on the people that work underneath him, because that manager has a job. They're supposed to accomplish a goal. And the people that work with him are the people that are going to help him accomplish that goal. But a bad manager is the one that feels like that they just got to make sure that they're in a position to tell everybody else what to do. So their joy is in lording over other people that they're the boss, right? And won't let somebody that does a good job that's working with them or for them, won't let those individual people shine. Won't let upper management know that, this particular guy that I'm working with or this lady that I'm working with, they do an excellent job, and I recommend them for a promotion because, hey, man, I could have never done it without that person. That person shows up, we don't start working until 9 o'clock. This person here, like clockwork, is here at 8:15 in the morning. They've got their desk set up. They've got everything that they need to do. And I know for sure when the business day is over, it's 5 o'clock. Everybody else is walking out. That person right there is still here till 6:15, making sure that everything that they were supposed to do got done properly. And if there was anything left around that somebody else didn't do, they'll let me know, and they do their best to help make sure that goes better. But you got another manager might see that same thing and feel like, hold on, I can't let my bosses or anybody else know that this person's doing this job because it'll look like they're better than me, and they're into themselves. And that's what I see for Floyd Mayweather Jr., man. I mean, as far as like what else he's doing in his personal life, I mean, man, just like Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya is not Golden Boy Promotions. It's not him. He's probably got enough money where he can do, in his bank, personal funds in his bank, because he made $400 million. where he can probably live, rest of his life and not have to work. Same thing for Floyd. But the company Oscar De La Hoya runs might be gone in a year and a half, 2 years. And if Floyd's not careful, Mayweather Promotions will go the same way. No joke. And with that, I'm out. Peace.